All right. Welcome, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you enjoyed it. Welcome, everybody, to Patristic Faith. Waking you up from Gatum to truth, beauty, and goodness. I can see in some Neo sunglasses behind the synth with a shirt that says, Lord, forgive my... That's funny. Welcome, everybody. Again, forgive me for stupid allergies. Or dust particle. I don't know what call. I get it occasionally. Something gets in my nose, like kind of itches. It's always my right side. And then my nose is running, my eyes are watering, my feet are smelling. Ankle's great. I haven't tried running yet, but like I walk, kind of have a weird kind of limp or something like that, but yeah, it's fine. I'm ready to go. All right, welcome everybody. Let's see, announcements. Thank you again for the super chats. For Dave, our regular contributor. Dave the Philippian donates $10. Dale this $20. Thank you so much for your support. Oh. What am I gonna do? I need to go into like a steam room or something. What do we got going on today, guys? We've got live office hours for those, and tutoring session for those who are signed up in our Canvas Epistemology course. We are in week 8. Can you believe it? We're literally halfway through. It's been a best class yet. I'll still allow people to join in if they'd like. We talked about Montanica, absolute success, best one yet, and it just gets bigger and better. And what can I say? I can't say enough wonderful things about it, and just putting on the map Holy Trinity, and all the priests here that work up with me on the worldwide map, not just including the United States, of just actually how amazing this community is and what's going on, and with Orthodoxy up here in Montana. Neti pot, yeah, exactly, neti pot. Yeah, I have Flonase too. And I've actually done neti pot, and nothing seems to work. I can't figure out what this is that causes. Because if I looked up the pollen allergen, it's probably pretty low. Crispy pots. Oh, here's my glasses. Okay, what else? Oh, big announcement. This Friday on Capturing Christianity, Jay Dyer and myself will team up to debate Dr. Trent Dortry and Dr. Christopher Tomaszewski on do Christians and Muslims worship the same God? So that should be really interesting. That is, I think it's 5:30 my time. 6, or let me just double check. What was painful? I won't watch anything on the whatever podcast. Like, I can't watch that stuff. Yeah, it's... Let me get the day, the time, I mean. I know the day. Six... Glad I looked. 6:30 Mountain Standard, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern Standard, 5:30 Pacific Standard. There you go. So I'm looking forward to that. All right. Please pray for, obviously, the martyrs in Syria, in Damascus, where my saint's house actually is, and for the conflict in Iran. It's crazy talking to the boomer. They love this stuff. I don't understand. Like, literally falling for the WMDs. I don't know if I can play this video. I found this video that was hilarious. Oh, where'd it go? Let's see if I can find it. I'm not going to be able to play it. I'll get in trouble. There's so many things I wish I could show you that I can't. Anyways, just typical boomer. They call us the Great Satan. Let's bomb them. Largest weapon of mass destruction. Largest state-sponsored terrorists. Okay, now do Israel. Oh, no. That you can't. Yeah. Total Ted Crud, dude. That's what I'm going to call him. Ted Crud. And then if I speak, like, I was talking to people yesterday, and they were getting so mad at me that I don't want to get into a conflict or have a nuclear war. Ted Cruz missile. They're just... Can you think of a more naive generation than the boomers? I mean... Let me see if I can... Let me see if I can put this... Show this. Now, Gen X is good. Gen X has got a healthy... They're not reactionary. I'm Gen X, so I know I'm partial to this, but... they seem to be a mean proportional between all the other generations. Oh, got it. Let's see. Oh, man. Ugh, Lord help me. I send this to myself. Isn't it interesting that are we just Gen X out of sight, out of mind generation? Like, we never get much flack or much attention. All right, did it go through? Let's see. So if I have things on my phone, pictures, I've got to. I'll let you. I won't. I'll let you read this. Oops. The boomer. Listen here, pal. Isn't that perfect? Total boomer. I literally ran into a guy just like this yesterday. That said, like, almost verbatim said the exact. Oh, Gen X is about 5 million smaller than any other. I didn't realize that. Yeah, millennials are pretty bad. These are generalities, and like somebody had said, a mindset. Gen Z's pretty bad too. Like everybody's bad. Everything's bad in different ways. What's funny is that Gen Zers have this weird moral superior. Like they're like the critic generation. They love criticizing. Um, and they're like on a quantum entanglement with the boomer. Like they are the boomer generation, the flip side of the boomer generation. There was a guy that said like came in and was like telling me how stupid boomers are. I'm like, Gen Zs are just stupid, just in different ways. But that's weird about that. Gen Z has this moral kind of like superiority. Like they're the generation of pointing fingers. And anytime you point a finger, there's 3 fingers pointing back. Correct? Yeah, absolutely. Gen Z converted. Like I deal with people in the parish and it's not like when that changes when they're, hopefully the Orthodox faith heals them of certain things, and it does eventually, I see. But it's just the good thing about Gen Z's coming into the Orthodox faith. They move out of their doomer dome. But yeah, they're always complaining and criticizing something as if they don't have any problems. Um, and they're just young and naive too. About they're reactionary too. They're literally the generation. Oh, that's so based because I do the opposite. Is it crazy? So they call out like they're the generation that call out the tribe And they get stuck in the same kind of false dialectics that the boomers do, just on the other side in a reactionary way. So I've seen, even in the Orthodox Church, Gen Zers be like, yeah, Islam's so base, dude. Look, I actually think it's... They love saying the shocking thing and adopting... That's the opposite of the normie boomer position. And it's like, what does it matter with you? They love that. My prayers, my tiny kitchen. Oh yeah, so bays. They just... One of them murdered... our parishes, a bunch of Orthodox Christians in Damascus, Syria. That's so awesome, dude. So there's never any nuance with the Gen Z. Like, they can't actually... It's just... That's why I said they are boomers. They're just the flip side of... They're the reactionary... They're still stuck in these kind of dialectics. It's like, oh, I'll take the opposite side of... It's so base, dude. Isn't that cool that it makes everybody mad? That's my take on that Gen... Jay and I should do a whole critique of Gen Z, too. And they've been conditioned to fetishize infantilism. I mean, I'd love to take a poll how many are into anime and have Funko Pops and, play Warhammer and just child. It's like, dude, grow up. Work on a ranch or something. Get off. Quit playing with dollies. There's gonna be a saint again to pray to get rid of allergies. Alright, what else? Let's cover some news. If you're not mega, you're not MAGA. It's hilarious. Oh, this is sad. So, do we know more information about St. Elias Church in Damascus? Was the bishop in... I obviously see a video here with the bishop. And look at all the kids. Lord have mercy. makes me sick. So, I find, look, people are hating on Alex. Literally, same thing as I experienced yesterday. Seriously, just because I don't want to get us involved in a war, another conflict, risk a nuclear war. Oh, you're not for Israel. You're a POS. Look at this. Mega. Freedom! Yeah, exactly. Gas for Israel! You gotta do the 90s grunge. You're not with us, you're with the terrorists. These dispensationalists. So, the Southern Baptist Convention is probably the largest, quote unquote, Christian sect in the United States, right? And they're dispensationalists. They're probably the largest supporters of Trump, too, so they just eating this up, dude. They love, like, yeah, look at the terrorists, get them right there. We got to fight for Israel. Yeah, it was awesome. He posted a picture of Trump marching to George W. But, like, that was awesome. Oh, no. Where is it? Somebody post it. These guys will follow Trump straight into hell. Yeah, I love Alex even more now. Thank you, Alex. Yeah, stop treating like quit. Quit being a Zionist. These people hate you. Yeah, we gotta find out if there's a saint of allergens. No, I looked into. It's not that nukes are fake. I mean, obviously nukes are real. We can make what's rumored to be fake. And I talked to a nuclear physicist at our parish. Is quote unquote fallout, like how long radiate, the whole kind of myth of like fallout. But like, I don't think anybody denies that we can split the atom, like, and make nuclear bombs and stuff like that. And that's another thing. The Z generation, everything's fake. Do you see they go too far? Like, birds are fake. I think they are. Like, I'm joking, but I made a funny. You haven't seen a funny. It's just the Z generation is just overwritten. Like, they're responding to something that's actually real. Propaganda, lies, the Overton window, Normandom, and all, like, they identify it. The problem is, it's just they're intellectually lazy and don't have the virtues of discernment, so they're just as naive. They'll fall for everything else reaction to, like, everything's fake. Nukes are fake. Globe theory's fake. Birds are fake. So that's why I said they literally are boomers. They're the opposite side of boomers. But I did make a funny. And they don't think through. Like, of course, there's a lot of stuff that is fake. Not a lot of, but they don't take the time of actually thinking through and looking at like in a nuanced and robust way. It's just like they'll fall for every quote unquote it's fake thing thrown out there. But look at this. Birds are fake. I knew it. What I found outside my apartment. I knew it. Anyways, it's just a joke. I believe birds are real, obviously. But that is kind of funny, isn't it? Don't you think? I've done this before. Um, Top 10 dumbest conspiracy theories that I wouldn't accept. There's a lot that it's like, and remember, I have a sliding scale. Stuff that it's like, well, yeah, obviously. To, yeah, almost 100% true. Maybe, I could be wrong about it, but more likely not, to very probable, to I don't know either way. Like, I guess I could see how it's possible. I just don't have enough evidence to push me to, yeah, I'm seriously doubting that. Probably, like, I don't see any evidence to absolutely not. Okay, so let's do top. Oh yeah, India's been doing it. Do you remember that? We should watch that video where they literally have like 8-bit uh video game thing and pretend like it's live feed. Let's do top. Should we do top 5 or top 10? 10's a lot. The Curry Cruiser. Top 10 dumb conspiracy theories that I would never believe. Let's do top 5. We can do more. Okay. Lizard people. Flat Earth, yeah, I hate Flat Earth. I don't know what it is. I think it's a spiritual intuition. Like, there's some stuff that really bothers me. I just know from God, and I have a lot more evidence too, but what do I always tell you guys? When I do philosophy, I always start with intuition, and I'm like, oh, there's something off about this, or there's something right about. I just know there's something evil behind Flat Earth. And it's a total, what's so funny, it's such a typical, like, trick that certain people would actually use. They actually couch it in, exactly like demons do in Prelist, right? They make it seem like the other side's the satanic. I'm like, oh, that's exactly. But I spiritually, intuitively know that's wrong. And then I go to further evidence. Okay, so lizard people, flat earth. Thank you for thanking me for hosting and putting together Martinica. Yeah, that was great. Wakanda. Number 3. I don't believe. Yeah, I'm total like geocentric. Yeah, I love geocentricity. I haven't been able to like prove it by scientific standard, but like I'm almost there, guys. Um. All right, I've got 3. I actually put this up once. That was really funniest conspiracy theories. Of course, we're never gonna get. It's always these normie. Oh, these are good. These are good. Oh, these are really good, actually. Okay, here we go. Let me see if I get. Yes. Can't wait to show you these. Oh my gosh. Okay. Are you guys ready? Holy smokes, we're gonna have fun with this. Remember, there's what we're talking about is silly ones, not the ones we actually believe are true. Yeah, Bigfoot is king. That's a good one. All right, here we go. Get ready to laugh. This is good fun. Top 25 popular conspiracy theories are so stupid. They're actually funny. Australia doesn't exist. Yeah, Australia doesn't exist. Master caveat. He's been killing hundreds of thousands. That one's a good one. I've heard that. Wow. Just got to update social distortion plane in Missoula. Let's go. Okay, Australia is actually a cleared out section of land in South America that has thousands of actors paid to be Australian. Did you know? Number 2, Stephen King killed John Lennon. Oh, this one's funny. There was like somebody actually I ran into that believed this because we have a big plateau up here in Montana. It's where they have the buffalo jump, where the Indians would run the buffalo off this huge plateau to kill them and eat them and do whatever else they, skin them and stuff. Plateaus are part of trees. Giant trees, monstrous trees, hundreds of feet wide, that ancient civilizations cut down. The moon doesn't even exist. So we all believe we didn't go there, but this goes a little bit further. The moon's not even real. I think I'm going to accept number 5. I'm maybe in the middle of the road, more leaning to the left-hand side that, I could actually see that this is true. Stephen Hawking was a computer. The first ascended machine taking control of his body and becoming... think about it. How dumb were we? The smartest man ever lived is a paralyzed person that has to talk through a computer when it's probably just a bunch of, physicists, programming... I see that plausible. Number 6, there weren't just 4 Beatle members. The Beatles were a rotation of different similar people. I like that one. Oh, number 7's great. The U.S. invaded Iraq for a Mesopotamian Stargate. That's great. The Vincent van Gogh was Jack the Ripper. Interesting. Eric Clapton was a serial killer. My favorite isn't widely known. I'm pretty sure this is a crazy homeless dude in my city believes this, but Eric Clapton is mediocre at best, and we all know about him pushing that kid out of the window so he could write a #1 hit. But this theory digs deeper and claims that every great frontman that has died of a young since the 1960s was actually murdered by none other than Eric blank beep Clapton. That's a good one. I like that. Yetis are actually aliens. I'm gonna go yes with that. Yeah, yes. Better yet, they are the Nephilim. What was the Mormon one again? Don't they believe something like that? The spawn of Cain is basically the Yetis and Bigfoot. JFK wasn't actually shot. Katy Perry is John Benet Ramsey. Yes. Anybody that knows anything knows that. Well, come on. Who's Tommy Wiseau? It's D.B. Cooper in disguise. I'm going yes with number 14. I'm going to say that is not silly. I think I like that one. North Korea is using Pokemon Go to spy on the U.S. A real was replaced by a clone. Yeah, I like that one. Oh, yes! Number 16. They just get better and better. Mattress Firm is actually a money laundering scheme. That Mattress Firm stores are popping up everywhere. Because they're part of a money laundering scheme. I mean, it's pretty interesting to think about. We have 4 to 5 in my area alone. Why do we need that many mattress stores? I mean, how many people are buying mattresses? Think about it. Does this make sense? It's obviously the logical conclusion is it's a money laundering scheme. Because the average person only buys a bed every 7 to 10 years. Yes, I'm going yes with number 17. The Olsen twins are just one person. Absolutely. This is the one we threw out. I think is a silly one. Reptilians control the government. Tupac's still alive. Oh, well, Tiny Mustache Man is not only alive, he's living on the moon. Oh, this one. I like 21. Japan invented Finland. A Finnish conspiracy theory that says Japan invented Finland for more fishing rights. Oh, we gotta use that. Well, you obviously just invented this because... Oh, this is interesting. We were teleported to a parallel universe. This movie I watched 20 years ago and never really paid attention is actually slightly different than how I remember it. So obviously, we must have been teleported to a parallel universe where it is this way and not the way I remember. You know, because my memory is flawless and certain scientists evil. That actually might be true. What are they doing in there? What's Tom Waits saying? What are they building in there? They're certainly not building a playground for the children. What are they building in there? Who are they talking to? What are these entities? What is the particles doing in there? Yes. Transvestigation. I bet. I'm going to go yes with that. Oh, this is stupid, dude. Ooh. Well, who's laughing now? Dummy. But I'm going to go with number 23. Say yes. I bet most actors are not who you think they are. They're actually men or women. And we all know I say yes to this. That is one of my favorites. Dinosaurs are clearly fake and gray. And I actually remember I told you how funny it was that, like, I literally got hate mail and there's internet hate on, or there's hate on the internet about me, like, this guy doesn't even believe in dinosaurs, lock him up. Can't believe it. This guy should be shot. He doesn't believe. Well, that really helps your case, right? If you're that fanatic about that, like, do you think I should be shot and locked up because I question dinosaurs? Now, I believe in Leviathan, and, obviously things like that. But, like, the whole dinosaur thing, that there's a Tyrannosaurus Rex, that you basically, it has bird hands on its chest. It's half lizard, half bird. I'm like, come on, dude. Like, mismatched parts. Oh, well. And then there's this whole lore created that's a spell. It's literally dinosaur religion for kids, right? Kids don't care about anything more than dinosaurs, right? Like, that's weird. And it's all to do what? It's to push evolution. So, yeah, call me crazy, but I'm a little suspicious of that. And especially when they're constantly, think about what the hominoids, that they're constantly getting caught, lying, creating things that don't even exist, like piecing the bones together. Like, I'm like, what a joke, dude. But, like, yeah, you're not helping your case. If you think that, like, I question that and I think that's weird, and you think I should be locked up or executed for questioning your dinosaur lore, that makes me think that it's more that I'm actually right about what I'm saying. So, you like that? That was fun, huh? Those were some funny ones. Oh, I want to add on there too. Yeah, I believe in dragons. I said, like, the one I gotta qualify, when I'm skeptical of dinosaurs, it's that everything that's identified as a dinosaur, right? To right push evolutionary theory and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I'm skeptical of that. Like, that there was probably something like a Tyrannosaurus Rex or these weird transitional bird lizard animal things, like, yeah, and they admit they don't even know what they look like. It was just like, well, if I put it together like this according to my stupid evolutionary theory, then that's what they'll look like. No, it's people go crazy. Like, people want to ruin my life and reputation just because I question, like, their religion. How crazy is it? These people are absolutely insane. I remember, like, they even, like, tried to contact my school once, or, like, some crazy person was like 4 years ago or something, were like, this guy doesn't believe in feminism and critiques democracy. It's like, oh, oh no, what got me? I forgot that I signed the contract when I went to teach. Do you swear to uphold and protect gayness and feminism and blindly support the dumbest form of government, by the standards of all intellectuals in Western civilization. Yes, I do. Well, we got him. He just broke his contract. This guy critiques democracy. Well, that's the narrative they go with. I mean, think about it, like, this is a threat to our democracy. Democracy, democracy. I'm like, don't blame me because I'm the messenger that every single thinker, hands down, thought democracy was the worst form of government. Like, I'm just the messenger. I'm just telling you what all these guys say. Like, lock him up! Because that's democracy. But is it crazy how violent people get if you attack their stupid religion? I want to add one other one in there that should have. We could have took some of those out. Some of those, it's like, yeah. Ooh, Jobs calls autism. What a bunch of idiots. It's like. That's not even fun. I don't even know why they put that on there. Whether somebody agrees with that or not. It's like, well, it's not funny. It's not like the other ones. Oh my gosh, this guy doesn't think exactly like us. Let's kill him. Let's get him fired from his job. Let's have him banished from society. Can't have any questioning around here and thinking logically through stuff. Guess what one I'm going to add on there? Conspiracy theory that I do accept. We all fell for... I'm blanking on her name now. Helen Keller. I just feel like the more outrageous you make something, like people are just like, nobody thought about literally a deaf, dumb, blind girl is going to be like the champion of feminism. And right, there's literally no way that we can verify. It's like the same. It's like the same as the Stephen Hawking. It's like there's literally no way that it's a non-falsifiable theory. Like, well, just trust me, bro. Well, no, you can't verify it because she's deaf, dumb, and blind. No, of course you can't verify Stephen because he's speaking through a computer and you can't actually hear if he's a real person. But don't be a bigot. Just buy the story. I'm going to throw that one on number 26. I'm going to go for it. What do you guys think? No, I'm using I had some weird issues with Streamlabs doing OBS, but I'm going to read some super chats right now. Ooh, somebody... Oh, level... Who are you? Like, why are you so... obsessed and provocative? Like, why are you spending all your time... Low cost $5. What's your response to users on X who say I'm a Nazi and white supremacist? Well, who are, like, this is what I don't understand. There's a mega thread claiming you're an alt-right for using offensive terminology against queer, disabled people. Well, I just have to ask people, why are you so dumb and naive do you just believe every random person that you don't even know, they could be a bot that, like, says something? Don't you think if that stuff was true, the priests and parishioners, don't you think that stuff would come out? Don't you think that everybody, oh no, it has to be a random person that you don't even know, that must know. So everybody else that lives in the community I work with, well, they've got to be wrong. But the random person that's obviously, do you know how many mentally ill people are out there that most of those people were verified to actually be mental ill? They could be worse than that too. Like, those are the people that could be plausible. Now, I just have to warn you that if you take that kind of stuff seriously, you will be not only judged in the next life by that same standard, that any stranger or random person that you don't know that accuses you something must be plausible. Especially for our leaders and people in the church, you give them the benefit of the doubt. I mean, we already have in the United States innocent till proven guilty. But that's serious by Orthodox standards. If you falsely accuse a clergy member, you could actually be excommunicated and removed from the church. There's canons about that. As they say, those are pretty bold claims. You better have all your evidence. A bold claim requires a substantial amount of evidence. And so it's the typical faggotry and what do you call it? Leftist tactics that, I mean, we all know that doesn't work anymore. Anything I don't like must be, you must be a fascist, tiny mustache man, white supremacist, like the game's over, give it up. Like, it doesn't work anymore. You can't. And another $5 from the person that seems to be obsessed with this channel who says they're a queer disabled person. Well, have you ever thought that maybe that's why you're not actually getting... To me, being anti-vax is ultimate insanity. Well, it depends on what you're talking... Are you talking about the coup? All this stuff's come out. You do realize that, right? Yeah, like, all these companies are rolling back these things, even mainstream media. And Yale's producing studies and stuff like that the jabs were. So that just shows how brainwashed you are. And I've gone over, first of all, how this even happened. The corruption and cronyism, but nobody's going to take you serious that level close. And I forget who you are on. It's a different name that you're... Why would anybody take somebody who's suffering from mental illness statement about what is insanity or not serious? And I thought you're supposed to trust the Actually, I'm an expert in this, analyzing how science and these things work, how we know things, epistemology. And Yeah, you have somebody. It is faggotry. Yeah, I have no problem taking that. And you are not going to manipulate me with your power words to force me into a position and to stop thinking and calling out people to a better life of truth, beauty, of healing. It's psychopathic, uh, emo, uh, emotionally manipulative, narcissistic tactics, and I won't stand for it. But what I'm saying about that, like, you want to believe that stuff's possible? Is Father Turbo and I talked about. It's not that you'll just be judged by that same standard in the afterlife, because the gospel the other day was about that. It doesn't say no judgment whatsoever. It says judge not lest you be judged, for by which the standard you judge you'll be judged in the same way. Father Turbo and I talked about that you will be judged. This will actually happen to you in life. Somebody will accuse you of some atrocious thing with no evidence. They're just a random person, and you will suffer the consequences. So if you engage in that, um, like, that will happen to you. That's why it's like, I pray for you that I wish people wouldn't do that, because it's just a little bit annoying for me, but for you it could be soul destroying, or life destroying, because it will come back on you. And so I think a lot of it's just confirmation bias. I mean, obviously the fact that you're on here, like, what do you want? Ask yourself. Everybody should ask this up. What do you want? Why are you here? To convince everybody that your leftist, virtuous victimhood, dark triad traits, thesis of trans person of color, whatever the thing that you're pushing the other day, is the true position and orthodoxy is wrong, and you're gonna convince her, like, in the chat, to are you here to aggravate? Like, I don't know why you spend so much time, and you're literally throwing money at. Yeah, and it's just an anti. It's a demonic anti, like, to not give I always give the benefit of the doubt to our clergy. Doesn't mean they're innocent. I'm just gonna let a random person. The fact that you're even on Reddit and these things listening, they're like, that's the problem right there. Like, you got a lot more serious problems than. But I think it's anti-hierarchical. Like, it's just a hatred for the church. All right. If you're here to learn, I can teach you. If you're here to just cause problems, like, look, ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time. Remember that? If you're incorrigible, if you're unwilling to learn and be taught, I mean, that's what the PF discussion and Q&A. You guys bring your questions, and I can teach you. If you want to just cause problems, you can go somewhere else, kindly. Brand tips floating at $5. How do we understand proclivity as men to compete and have ambition in life when the fathers talk about those things as prideful? For instance, starting your own legacy in a business or something. Or, you have to understand in ethics. Oh, Phil and Wolf donates £2. Thank you. In ethics, you have general principles. We're not what we call we're objectivists, so we believe that these moral principles are not dependent on our subjective feelings, any individual person and what they think. They're independent of individual people. However, the stringency of which and how, where, and when those are applied are not, it's not absolutism, which would state that a moral principle is applied everywhere at the same degree at all times in all places. So, yes, there's a general principle of pride in various issues. But how that looks in, for example, I don't want to even confuse using, because there's different there's equivocation on pride. Let's say taking joy in accomplishments, or really, most people would say like taking pride in your job or something like that, but I think it's confusing because we're gonna get confused with the notion of pride in a sinful sense. So let's say taking joy and having an acknowledgement in the good of a particular activity or accomplishment. There's a healthy sense of that in sports, in competitions. And obviously, if it goes too far, it becomes a sin, right? And the way that you actually tell, right? And this could be, for example, legacy in a business. Like, that's fine. Like, that's great. There's something good about recognizing the goodness of one's accomplishment. And as you saw in the pictures from the Montanica, to love is to remember, we honor our past, was like the Serbian kind of thing in the hall. What's wrong with that? Now, can you make that an idol? Absolutely. And the way that you tell when this becomes prideful as a sin or an idol is, does it interrupt first things? So notice it's nuanced. It's not, there's no absolutism. Like, well, everything's just prideful when you have to apply it in the same way. Like, no, it's a general principle. And why is it actually a principle? Like, why would that be wrong? That's what you got to ask one of these questions. Our faith isn't about simple, because the rule said so. There's a reason behind it. It makes sense. The reason why stuff is considered sins is because they're breaking in and they're replacing the first things. The first thing is God, family, these sorts of things. And even if you obviously spend more time in your work or job or something like that, or some activity, than you do in liturgy or even with your family, that doesn't mean that it's a first thing. And I've talked about, remember when I did this talk at, what was it, 2 years ago? At the Montanica? It's the prioritization and the intensity that when I'm there, I don't let second, thirds, and fourth. When I'm with my wife or I'm in liturgy, I don't let third, fourth things break into that. And that's, if we do, then we put third and fourth things in terms of, and first, then it's sinful. It's idolatry. So I hope that explains. All right, other questions. Who is the trans person in the chat? Let's find out. That keeps obsessing. Can't I find... Why doesn't it show up? Are they even watching it, or do they get booted from the... Are you too afraid to... I find the audacity that you would actually... Trans people literally have are some of the most violent, right? Trans terrorism, where do you think that term came from? Have the highest suicide rates, depression, right? Most Medicaid, and you think that's actually normal. And it has nothing to do with, it's because we're not accepted, because there were studies actually done in the most accepting places that those figures didn't change at all. So we wish the best for you. It's a mental and spiritual illness. It's a demonic deception. It's Gnostic. It's a denial of reality. And we're trying to... It isn't hateful and bigoted to actually want to help somebody and be like, that's not real and it's hurting you. We're not going to validate harm. So you want us to harm ourselves and go and lie and go against our own religion and then harm others because that's what you decided? Jim Bob's going? So you're not going to speak up. All right, whatever. Whatever. By the way, I feel like you came from Jim. All the crazy people come from Jim Bob's. Find me through Jim Bob's. All the transformers, the trans terrorists. I'll keep taking your money, though. You want to keep... Super chat. Okay. That's kind of weird. A lot of H watchers, yeah. Tyrannosaurus Rex. We got a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Are we? Please identify yourself. V Scott, I love it. I love it. I'm gonna start opening with that. I'm not a crazy person. That's a good. Who's Marilyn? Yeah, trans people are really violent and aggressive. they hold a proportion of like school shootings and these mass shootings and stuff like per population. I mean, it's crazy that they actually come on, whoever you are, come on here, and you literally, through insane things and force and violence, are threatening Orthodox. We have to change 2,000 years of unchanged tradition from divine revelation. And doesn't it show too that it's never that the whole stupid thing like live and let live? We all knew that was a demonic lie. These people do everything they can to ruin your lives and destroy the church so that you have to affirm their mental illness and spiritual illness. I don't have to do a dang thing. And then what I find hilarious, like I was talking to this guy here, that why do you think, this is what I like, talk about the lack of kind of self-awareness. What makes you think that you're literally gonna, right, even if I'm wrong about something, that you're going to win an argument with a professional debater, philosophy professor, PhD in the philosophy of science and epistemology? Like, talk about lack of self-awareness. Like, you're never going to win it. That's so crazy. I know I don't go into areas, like, even if I think I'm right about something, I'm not going to go in to and argue with a PhD and some expertise that I'm not qualified. Like, I know, like, I'm going to lose. I don't. That shows how insane you are. That's just like, you're living in literally unreality and insanity to think that, like, you'd come on here and yeah, we already covered the Iran stuff, so we were doing some funny stuff until we got a transformer who's been on for the last, and they won't identify themselves. I thought that you were all about self-identifying. What's going on? And what's so stupid too is that anything I don't like must be tiny mustache man fascism. You must be right wing. I'm so politically wrapped up. You've taken the side against peer-reviewed science. Do you want me to walk you through again the problems with peer-reviewed science? Do you want me to walk you through? Science can't even get to knowledge. I'm a philosopher of science. Like, are you stupid? Like, you keep saying this stuff. I know, obviously not right. I've criticized. Anything I don't like must be right. We must be right wing, MAGA. Anybody that knows me knows that I am not. I'm not libertarian. I'm not MAGA. I'm not liberal. Now, I think certain political sides and positions are worse than others. Same thing with you people. What do you mean, you people? You're losing. Your science religion has been exposed. Your dark triad trait, manipulative tactics of accusing everybody you don't like as a white supremacist and tiny mustache man lover fails. It doesn't work. Nobody buys it. Go home. Your words, your weaponized words have lost their power, and you have lost the war. And if you can't see that, it just shows you how out of touch in reality you are. I'm not MIGA, I'm not MAGA, I'm not right wing. First of all, guarantee this person can't even define these. That's the thing. Like, these people can't define these words. By the way, I've taught political and social philosophy. I know these terms. I know where they come from. I know where different political movements originate philosophically. What if I just say this? You're not in a position to have an opinion on anything that you've said thus far. Peer review. That's amazing. People would like this. This is what I don't understand is like all of it's being exposed. Even mainstream media, and these people are still saying stuff like this. That's when you know brainwashing is thoroughly complete. When their guys are actually saying, no, it's actually this. And they're like, no, it's not. No, like literally, right? It's like they did their job perfectly well. If you get to that point, who said reading logic books in Greek or Latin makes more people dumb? Well, I mean, if you just pick up a book that you don't know how to read, maybe. Get the whole circularity thing out. Like, that confuses people more than anything. But yeah, foundationalism doesn't allow circularity. But like, I don't know why people get so hung up on. I think they just parrot these like, because I'd like to ask them, what do you mean by circularity? At the parrot, like, can you even explain what that means? They just hear something on the internet and they'd be like, well, you're circular. Like, why don't you break it down and be like, what circularity is? Like, what is the fallacy of weak induction, begging the question, and it's a vicious circularity? Why don't you explain why that's a speed? Like, otherwise, stop talking about. Look, if you don't know those things in logic and epistemology, then quit asking. How can you ask a question about the term or thing that you don't even know? I have an idea. All right, what other questions do you guys have? Look, my nose is getting better. Did somebody pray for me? Thank you. Okay, one second. I understand something. I'm trying to figure out how to do something real quick. Alright, 1 second. Alright, go to YouTube Studio. When's the last time we did a stream on here? Was it Saturday? Yes. Saturday. Okay. And if I play this, I have an idea. I think I know who this person is. So if I go to show chat replay, okay? This is the only way I can do this. I'll tell you what I'm doing in a second. Go ahead and send your super chats or questions. How to find... Excuse me. I just don't get this. I don't think I can figure this out. Alright. Where are you guys? Where are you? Where's your questions? Oh no, did I shut this off? I can't find... I'm trying to find... I must have clicked off on the... Rats. Alright, back to the drawing board. YouTube Studio. Then I go into... Content. I'm pulling you back up live. I'm going to pull it up in the studio. I must have accidentally hit the... view and control room. Here I am. Noah Strong. $5. I don't have a question, but God bless. And I appreciate it. Thank you so much. What does past eternal mean? That there's no beginning to... I mean, all these things... Here's the problem. I mean, Kant was able to point this out too. None of these things can be answered from autonomous reason. So how do we know there was an eternal past? Through divine revelation. There's no other way to actually know, because it was the one who's in a position to know, because he created space and time, told us. And if you deny that, there's no justification for any knowledge whatsoever. But there is no, like, autonomous philosophical argument to actually prove it either. That's like Kant's logical antinomies shows that. All right, let me see if we have any more super chats. Excuse me. Is it true that how we die is reflected in heaven? I heard supposedly beheaded martyr. I don't know exactly. I do know that, Peter, that we do have our wounds. Like Christ has his resurrected body has. And I was talking with Father Russell was talking to the parishioners about that. And I was talking about this in the conference too, maybe with Father Turbo in our Therapia workshop. The wounds are healed. So when I talk about forgiveness, is not forgetfulness. Which is interesting because the Greek word, right, forgetfulness, Lethe, right, from the river Lethe, like the river of forgetfulness. The negative, add the negative prefix to that. The negation of forgetfulness is truth, not forgetfulness. Don't, like, that's why, there's a connection to memory eternal. There's a word that I'm looking for too that I wanted to share. Anamensis is another word that I like. Calling to mind. And so when we define what forgiveness is, like even if a person doesn't ask for forgiveness, right? Can you forget? Yes, because the act of forgiveness doesn't do much for the other person. It releases you. And in fact, that's a good definition of forgiveness. The release from the memory of, release from the captivity of the memory of the past. It doesn't say forget the memory. It says don't be held captive by it. And so when God forgives, he doesn't forget, like he's all knowing. When we forgive others, we don't forget. The scars are still there. Is a memory of the past. And so we're not to be held captive by it. Like every sin is a captivity that we can't become more than what we are. So yeah, I could see that saints do have, Christ has his wounds. They're healed, he's resurrected, he's got a glorified body, but they're still there. The memory of the life lived on earth is still there. MyTube donates $9.99. Advice on touchy subject. I moved my girlfriend before getting married or become Christian. Now I'm Christian, but I don't know what to do here. If we break up, she'll be home. That's tough. That's something that can't actually be worked out online. You're going to have to find a priest to work with you and guide you kind of through that process. See if like even there's some resources that the parish can help with that. But that's way too complicated and like you said, touchy of a topic that you'd ever could get proper advice over online. You really do need to contact a priest and have that conversation with the priest in your local area to in person kind of help you through that. So God bless you. Yeah, V Scott. I don't know why that happens. Several people reported that they don't get notified when they go. I don't think anybody's been able to figure out why some people do and why some people don't. Why they stop getting notified. That's a good question, though. All right, other questions. I gotta go pretty soon. Yeah, it was Brandon T. A good question for a local trusted priest. Ah, allergies. Got my allergies going. My nose actually feels better though. Huh. This guy has an argument like me. Alright, if you guys don't have any other questions, what do you want? What do you want to ask before we leave? Peter H donates $5 Club Blast. Thanks for doing it. Continue. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, God's Revelation of the Human Heart is really good. I like that one a lot. It's short. Oh, good call. V. Scott found the answer. You only get notifications for the first 10 channels that you sign up to. That makes sense. You have yeah, just get excuse me, just give your father time. You know, that stuff does take time. Imagine it's pretty hard that put all your eggs in one basket and you know, you identify like things that you put your identity in. And suppose your family is, you know, that's you not only that's your ethos, that's your family ties and stuff like that. It must be extremely difficult to leave that and to see, you know, as the cracks and fissures start to grow, you know, you're explaining what like, whoa, you know, there's the I imagine it's very difficult. So just give them time. And that's the other thing too. I was talking with one of my godsons at church yesterday, who was frustrated. His parents seemed to kind of have to like not interested. You know, There's two different ways that we've got to be careful with Orthodox too, because we're so excited about our faith that when we see somebody express interest, we think that they're interested in joining the church. That's not the case. There's two different notions of interest. I find it interesting. That doesn't mean they're interested in converting. So keep that. People always get so excited that most people who are interested in Orthodoxy and go and look, and they may never ever be interested in leaving whatever they're in and converting. So don't get your hopes up, you know. And one of the things is I told my godson is it's nearly impossible that, you know, it happens from time to time, but that your parents will convert through you because of the dynamic. That's why I would, you know, say don't argue with your parents about orthodoxy. The dynamic between you and your parents is they're the teachers and you're the child. It'll always be that way. So it's extremely difficult and rare that the parents learn or convert from the child. it usually comes in some other way, through a friend, or, there's other things that, and so parents I'm interested, or they even support you. Like, hey, I like that my son or daughter goes to the Orthodox Church. I've attended a couple times. That does not mean they're interested in converting. They have to go through a crisis. They have to get to the point personally, and that can come through different ways, in which whatever belief system that they're in, they see is utterly bankrupt. It's everything has problems, right? But we don't convert. It's like what Thomas Kuhn, the Structures of Scientific Revolution, talks about, like how science paradigms change are the same as religious paradigms. It's not that it has anomalies and things that every system has something like that. It's when the anomalies become too great, when they become systemic issues, that the system implodes, basically. It's at a systematic level, self-defeating. Like, once somebody gets to that, they've got to get to that before, and this is what Thomas Kuhn talks about, before you go to the next paradigm. So their system or religion may have they may admit has all kinds of problems, and they find orthodoxy really interesting, and they're not converting. They're not going to convert until they see what they're in is null and void. That it's bunk on a systemic level. That the anomalies become so great that it can't be salvaged. And conversion is really complicated. Like, because humans are really complicated. The factors that influence people and how they perceive, like, this, there's no one size fits all. Like, everybody's really different and responds differently to. But generally speaking, there's some kind of trends. Like, yeah, parents do not tend to be instructed or receive the truths of their children. Like, it's just not going to happen, like, for the most part. Ways that it does is when they see that when you're not actually speaking or talking to them about orthodoxy, they just see the changes in. I know that my sister-in-law converted from Protestant to Orthodoxy that way, just watching the change that happened after I started keeping my mouth shut and stopped arguing with the family members. Like, I had to learn the hard way. All right. One last question. One last super chat before we go. Yeah, parents. How much prayer is too much? When it exhausts you. So that's why you talk to your priest. First of all, you get a prayer rule. Like, what is the minimum? Can you do like a foundational kind of, what's it called, a rule? Typically that might be the Trisagion, the Our Father, and the Creed. That's my prayer. Like, that's like the foundation. It's like what you can commit to, that it's like, I'll never break that. Morning, evening, I always add the prayer rule in. Then you can add stuff on top of that. So you start small and you begin to add on. And again, you can add more, but then you're not failing, right? So like there's going to be times when it's like we don't, I don't get to do all the 12 prayers. I haven't sinned or broken my rule, because my rule is I'm like, well, I always keep that. The Trisagion, the Our Father. There's actually more that I do than that. Like the 3 morning prayers and the the creed. But the concern is, if you don't have that, and you don't have that kind of established by a priest, and you're doing it you burn yourself out. So you got to work up to kind of like disciplines and stuff like that. So you may have a lot of zeal, be like, oh, I want to pray. Like, you'll exhaust yourself. You're not ready to do. So you got to be careful about that. And I forget what saint it said. It's much more pleasing to God to have sweet, what was the phrase? Sweet, meaningful prayers than long, long ones that are not. Consistency and quality over quantity. That's basically Jay and I are debating Dr. Trent Doherty and Dr. Christopher Tomasłowski, 2 Roman Catholics. One is a professor of philosophy and philosophy of language and epistemology at Baylor. Where is Dr. Christopher Tomasłowski now? I've had a conversation with him before. He's a Thomistic philosopher. All right, it is your last chance to throw one in. And then we depart. No? 35 people. There is... Go ahead and go over to Jim Bob's. Oh, here's a good question. What are some things you have seen convert spouses? Oh, that's hard. That's very similar to any kind of familiar. It's usually the lack of pressure, like when you're not pressuring. You just kind of keep your mouth shut, and there's the open invitation, and the spouse just sees the change in the person. That's usually the best. The debate is about whether Muslims and Christians worship the same God, whether we're referring to the same entity. So it's going to involve a lot of kind of... I mean, there's reason why we're paired up the way that we do. So Dr. Trent Doherty specialized, even wrote his dissertation on kind of philosophy of language and reference in terms of epistemic and semantic kind of reference. I'm proficient in that area. Like, I don't know, I would never call myself an expert. By the way, in your CV, you have that area of specialization versus area of competence. Like, I would definitely say, like, I'm competent in that area by academic standards. Even though if, like, I'm not a specialist, epistemology, areas of epistemology certainly. But excuse me. So that's probably why Trent Dortry and I were paired up together. So we'll be probably going at it from the epistemological and semantic and linguistic kind of philosophy approach in terms of reference and how reference are established, things about like intentionality and stuff like that. And then Dr. Christopher Tomaszewski is the Thomist. So I imagined, as far as natural theology, probably like to be defending that, and then Jay kind of paired up against him. I mean, it's not like we're talking to only. I'm just saying that's why they put like the 2 on 2 together. What is going on? Any more super chats? Otherwise, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you for your prayers. I'm feeling better. My nose, something's going right. Thank you for praying for that, because it is miserable. God bless you, keep you, and give you strength. And till tomorrow, blessings of the Lord, and go raid Jim Bob right there. All right, bye guys. Take care.